Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today. Thank you for coming out today in this weather. As you all know, this is a dire situation. Champaign-Urbana Citizens for Peace and Justice condemns the grand jury for refusing to indict Officer Darren Wilson, the prosecutor for staging a mock trial, and Governor Nixon for not appointing a special prosecutor. We also denounce the governor for imposing a state of emergency. The people of Ferguson have a right to protest free from police intimidation. So we are calling on them to end the state of emergency right now. We condemn the presence of military vehicles and automatic weapons in the hands of the police. We call on the federal government to halt the 1033 program supplying military vehicles and weapons to local police.
That's right.
We honor Mike Brown by struggling for police demilitarization in our own communities. Ferguson is everywhere, including Champaign County. We demand Sheriff Walsh scrap the MRAP. No money for tasers, no money for jail construction. We need programs in schools and communities. Stop racial profiling. Keep families home. And remember Keywan Carrington. Just 5 years ago in 2009, Champaign police killed 15-year-old unarmed Keywan Carrington. The officers were never charged. One received $420,000 in workers' compensation, and the other was promoted to another city. Police killing of black youth is an issue of national and local importance. It has happened here, it has happened everywhere, and it could happen again. Please join Champaign-Urbana Citizens for Peace and Justice, the North End Men's Breakfast Club, GEO, all unions, all community groups together uniting against racial injustice. We meet, the Champaign-Urbana Citizens for Peace and Justice meets every Saturday at 4 p.m. at the Independent Media Center. Please come out, please be a part of the solution, because this problem is not going away unless we unite. Let's get some chants going, y'all. Let's get some chants going. We want to make some noise today. We want them to hear us. They're all around. They know we're here. Let's get something going.
That's right.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Whose town?
Our town.
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 Whose town? Our town. Whose town?
Our town.
Whose town?
Our town.
Whose town?
Our town.
have to show them that we are united, and we will continue to fight, and we will continue to struggle. This is the only way that we can break this oppression, because that's exactly what it is. This is not an individual episode. This is a systemic problem that has been going against African Americans, particularly since we first got here. And we are going to address it today, and we're going to make sure every damn soul in this town hears us. I would like to call on now Terry Barnes to lead us in song.
Thank you, Gus. Thank you very much. My name's Terry. Thank you all for coming out in the cold and the wind. Okay, so we're going to keep our hand on the freedom plow. Do you all know this song? Can you sing? Yeah. I said, how close do I sing? Do I have to speak?
Oh, no, you're fine.
I'm fine. Okay. Can you all sing? Yeah! Types of voices? Yeah! Types of things you want to say? Yeah! All right, we're going to keep our hands on the freedom plow. Do you know that song?
Yes.
All right, so when I point to you, you say hold on. All right? Darren Wilson must go to jail and no money for his bail. Keep your hands on the plow and hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hands on the plow and hold on. Some days seem like dark and night, but we'll keep on to the light. Keep your hand on the plow and hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on the plow. Hold on. Only change that will stand in the change and keep your hand on the plow. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on the plow. Hold on. If you wanna get rich and show your heart, just keep your hand on the freedom plow. Keep your hand on the plow. Hold on. Hold on one more time now. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on the plow. Hold on. Well, maybe just one more time. Hold on, hold on, keep your hand on the plow, hold on.
Protest going on live. I'm waiting on the speaker to speak.
Thank you so much, Terry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Terry. Let's make some more noise, though. When I say justice for, you say Mike Brown. Justice for 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 Mike Brown. Let me hear you. Justice for Mike Brown. 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 One more. Justice for Mike Brown. Now, justice for Keywan Carrington. Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
Justice for
Keywan Carrington.
y'all. Thanks for coming out today. We're so happy to have you all here, although we're not happy for the situation, but this is a situation foreseen. We've been down this road before. We saw this all in 2009 when police killed 2 black youth in 1 year, one Toto Kaewu and 2 Keyborn Carrington. And so we're out here again, and we've been down this road. We've appealed to the Department of Justice. They wouldn't come to this town, and so we have no illusions about the criminal justice system here in the United States. So thank you all for coming out today. We condemned the grand jury for this no verdict, and we stand in solidarity with the folks in the streets of Ferguson, folks in Chicago shutting down Lakeshore Drive, folks in New York City, folks in Oakland, folks in Los Angeles. We stand in solidarity with people around the world fighting for these issues. So what I wanted to talk about briefly, what we're working on town here, we with CU Citizens for Peace and Justice. We have been forming a coalition for police demilitarization. We have about 15 organizations on board, and we are organizing more. Come talk to us if you'd like to get on board. We found out recently that the sheriff in our town, Sheriff Walsh, whose office is just across the street here, Sheriff Dan Walsh, who was just elected for a 4th time, Sheriff Walsh is driving one of these massive MRAP trucks. This is a mine-resistant, ambush-protected truck straight from the Middle East. And this is soon to be crawling the streets of Champaign, Urbana. So we say, scrap the MRAP! Scrap the MRAP!
Scrap the MRAP!
Scrap the MRAP!
Scrap the MRAP!
Take the tank!
Take the tank!
So we're trying to get the sheriff to decommission the MRAP truck. We know that the sheriff also was flying a drone around. We exposed that the sheriff had a drone that he was practicing and soon to be using on residents of Champaign, Urbana. We stopped that. We're stopping the MRAP. We're stopping this trend of police militarization. There's 100 assault rifles in the hands of police here in our town, and we're looking to get them out of the hands of the police. So we're working on forming a coalition. We're working on stopping tasers. We're going to talk about, we're trying to stop this new jail that they want across the street. We've got 2 jails in this town. We're a 2-jail town. We've got 1 jail across the street, which is the downtown jail. They just closed our downtown jail that they say is outmoded and about to fall down. And they're trying to expand a satellite jail that they have out on Urbana Street in East Urbana. So we've fought now the jail for 2 years, and we continue to fight it. So come talk to us about how you can get involved. We'll have other people speaking today, but thank you all for coming out. I'm Brian Dolliner. I'm with the Champaign Urbana Citizens for Peace and Justice, who along with the National And we meet most every Saturdays at 4 o'clock at the Independent Media Center in the shadows of the Champaign County Courthouse. Next we have Martell Miller is going to come speak up, a longtime resident of Champaign, Urbana. Martell's been fighting for 10 years, videotaping the police, taking it to the police in Champaign. So much has happened in the 10 years that I've lived here in town. And partly due to this man, Martell Miller. He's seen his own son beaten up at the hands of the Champaign police, and he really stepped out and put his neck on the line, calling for justice for his son and others like Brandon Ward, who was pepper sprayed and beaten up by the Champaign police. Martell Miller, folks.
How y'all doing, people? I'm so glad that all y'all come out. It's over 100 and some people out here. And this is what we need. You know, this is what we need. We need the people come out against these issues. And we got an issue coming up in Urbana. Urbana police trying to get tased. We fought this fight once before, stopping them to get tased. Now we have this fight again. And tasers is another tool on the police belt to be misused. And they're going to be misused to people that look like young men that look like me.
That's right.
Right now, they beating them. Next day, they be tased. You know, and when they do change, they don't know if the young man have a bad heart, have any kind of medical issues. They just gonna tase him, and then the results gonna come after they tase him. If he dies, it's just gonna be another young black man dies. You know, and a black life is just like any other life. You know, and we should have no more stolen lives. We had T1 here stolen in Champaign. We had Michael Brown stolen in St. Louis, Ferguson. And then we had another young man's life stolen in Cleveland, 12 years old, shot twice in the chest with a BB gun. They had no alternative. You know, so when we talking about law enforcement have to have some guidelines under them that has some way to, other than what they're using right now, to deal with them. Because we just had a police officer in Ferguson shoot a young man, they say 10 feet. I was down in Ferguson. That young man was shot over probably 20 yards away. You know, there was no threat. And they could have charged this man with involuntary manslaughter. At least we would have got a trial and we got the truth. You know, and that's all we really asking for is the truth, and people be held accountable for the things that they do to others. And somehow the police are above the law. They're not held accountable for what they do to others. They can beat them, they can shoot them, and there's no there's no way that they're getting charged. The same court system that they bring people to get charged is a court system for trial. And my thing is that all communities need a citizen review board. You know, by the people. Not only a citizen review board, they need a citizen review board with subpoena power. So that we can get the things we need. You can't lock take the police record, the job record, and then lock up where we can't get the evidence. You know, we got to be able to subpoena for the evidence and be able to bring him to justice. Or if he committed a crime, he should come to justice. If another officer see a police out there committing a crime, he ought to arrest him. And if he don't arrest him, he's not doing his job. He ought to be reprimanded.
Yes.
You know, it's things that the people need to ask for. But I'm going to pass the mic, but we need you to come out to Urbana when they try to present these tasers to our community and say we don't want it. What we want is a community relation with the police department where all citizens have the same rights. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Marcel. Appreciate that. Now we're going to bring up Patsy to speak a little bit.
Assalamu alaikum. Woo! So this is a good week. Good week. Okay. This is a good week. Okay. It's a good week for genocide. As you're eating that turkey, remember that was one genocide. This is another genocide.
Yes.
A part of the bigger picture. Okay. You do not live in a democracy. And don't believe you do, okay? The same men that set down the founding fathers, white landed men, no women, no people of color, no Native Americans, are the same people running it now. We've had a long time to realize that, okay? So we're out here today, once again, and we have some solutions are in the making. I'm here to talk about no more jail campaign. No more jail campaign. Brian mentioned it. Bringing organizations and individuals together. It's a solution. Because I truly believe if you're not part of the solution, you are definitely part of the problem. So here's what we've got planned, okay? It's a campaign not only, it's been going on for a while. We stopped one jail being built, and then they turned right around like they did with mass incarceration and came up with another plan, okay? So we're fighting that. And the aggressive, just the aggression and the punishment and the violence that they chose to police with. No More Jails has another component, it's more programs. Because we know that many of the people that get incarcerated need programs. Okay? So, and as far as mass incarceration, we all are very clear that that's another part of the genocide. And if you make it through, if you don't get shot, you do your time, then you come out and there's nothing for you. You're a second-class citizen. So we're talking re-entry programs. So we're talking solutions. If people want to deal with solutions and not have to be out here again maybe next year, then see one of the organizers of this rally. And we think we've got some stuff going on. Also, if any of the great thinkers spoken word is here, get a hold of me, because I may not recognize you. So that's all for right now. All right.
The decision by the grand jury to refuse indictment for Darren Wilson for executing Mike Brown is disappointing, but not surprising. A few points must be made here. First, extra-legal lynchings by police are a historical trend of an inherently racist and unjust system. We continuously scream justice. We demand justice. Yet there is no justice in this system, and there never has been, ever. For the past 400 years, this country has tried to politically exclude and marginalize the black voice. This country has economically exploited and subjugated blacks in all forms of labor. And of course, they have always murdered us without a whiff of sorrow or concern for human life. Hell, they only lost sleep if they had to purchase another one of us to make up for lost time and work in a day. These are all conscious, explicit efforts by the American system to disrespect blacks. Why are these trends consistent throughout our history and today? It's because we were brought here solely as chattel, not as people. Some things that only purpose is to work, to toil, and to slave. They continue to think of us today as chattel because that's how this system operates in the schools, in the media, in labor, and in politics. We are not supposed to think critically, behave as humans, and most importantly, expect something called respect. How can we demand respect from people who worship and promote the foundational racist roots in this country? We send children every day to school to memorize, not actually think, but to memorize history that promotes racial inferiority. We send them to embrace a U.S. Constitution, a document written way back in the 1780s that consciously constructed racism and classism against blacks, Native Americans, poor people, and women. Our children pledge allegiance to that flag that promises liberty and justice for all, when liberty and justice have never existed in this country. The only respect we will ever sustain that can lead to progressive changes against racial injustice is respect for each other and community. Community and solidarity are the key facets to resistance. Demanding respect, civility, justice, and most importantly, humanity from a system that does not see us as human, that's built on racism, murder, and exploitation, is lunacy. When a black child is shot by a cop, his life stripped away. His blood soaking the concrete, his eyes closed forever. The executioner receives hundreds of thousands of dollars in support for shooting that child. The execution supporters are more upset when they see people burning the American flag than the death of a child. Are we seriously demanding respect from people like this? If they spent over 200 years defining us as less than human, those core values are still cemented and exercised with police training, police militarizations, and these executions. How can we demand respect when politicians are openly racist as well? Rudy Giuliani said on Sunday that white police officers wouldn't be there. White police officers wouldn't be there if you all weren't killing each other. That's what he said. How can we demand respect from a system that is inherently disrespectful to the majority of its so-called citizens? These politicians refuse to acknowledge that they purposely promote poverty that creates conditions where crime is unfortunately a means of survival to feed your family, to keep your lights on. How working 50 hours of intense work per week and bringing home barely enough money to pay bills and nothing else feels like. They don't know what these things feel like. They don't understand that hunger and that need to survive. Our condition in this country is dire. Demanding respect from an inherently disrespectful and unequal system has never worked. What we have always done, though, in response to these injustices is respect each other, build communities, build organizations, and build resistance. We cannot organize to change aspects of the system. We must organize to change the whole damn system. The Constitution, the two-party political system, and the oppressive economy are all major determinants in this unjust and inhumane foundation. I know these are dire words, but these are dire conditions. Our brothers and sisters are dying every day, getting their lives stripped away. Now the national media that disrespects us on a daily basis is calling the organized rebellion in Ferguson a riot with looting. That's all they said, to devalue the anger and disillusionment and community of the blacks there who organized and planned a rebellion in response to what they knew was going to happen. Another disrespectful outcome. Brothers and sisters, we must demand respect for one another so that we can organize community groups to work together towards changing this inherently racist and exploitive broken system. The war is here and the fight is now. Thank you.
Right now we got a young lady going to speak, Coco Harmon. She's going to give a poem or a spoken word, and I'm going to bring it up right now.
I'll make this as quick as possible. Louder? Okay. So I got a lot of calls yesterday asking me how I felt, asking me where I stood on the situations. And a lot of people wanted to have the same conversation we had when this happened with Trayvon Martin. I don't want to keep having the same conversation. That's right. I don't want to do that. And me being who I am, this is my response. So some of you may agree, some of you may not, but this, I'm just going to title it, my response to every messed up situation that takes place in this world we mistakenly call home. We were made in God's image, but we're scared of the mirror. We seek our reflection in all the wrong places, distorting our faces, and via the lack of truth and knowledge, we ourselves become the foundation for all the problems we're faced with. Instead of nurturing our spirituality, we fatten ourselves with corruption and brutality, then have the audacity to every once in a while voice that we're tired, upset, and disappointed with this homemade reality. We live in a state of confusion, feeling everything and knowing nothing, left with situations that no one knows what to do with. When people are constantly seeing that nothing is or can be done, they become numb because the history of human hurt is too vast. Our faces of hopelessness, failure, and sadness remain masked. Then there are the actors and reactors who eventually become complacent adapters with occasional speeches simply listing the goals we ain't reached yet. The same sermons day after day, but you will never be an effective preacher if you don't even pray. I find us humans kind of odd. We want to be better, but we talk to each other about progress none of us has ever seen when we could talk and seek advice
just died for no reason. Someone just got sexually assaulted. Someone just got fired for suspicious reasons. Someone can't pay for school or better yet food. Someone just fell victim to violence. We spoke with such conviction. But even this innocent blood on his hands, he wasn't convicted. There is no justice in the justice system. There's at least one little kid being bullied right now. There's separation by man-made races. We breed the racist. Women still make less than. We don't respect difference. The correctional institution don't correct. The police don't provide and protect. Higher education is a ripoff. You can't unify the uninformed. The government is infected with corruption. We all will or currently have debt. Prices are too high. Wages are too low. We pay the same taxes twice. Old people are tired. Young people are confused. Actually, both, maybe both. But still, the people don't pray. Some don't believe, some are afraid, but if all you have to believe in this life is humanity, look around. How are you even still here? How is it that life and mankind has shown you the scariest realities and still it's a conversation with God who loves you that you fear? We're lost, but refuse expert direction. We are backwards, promoting progression. I don't want to keep having this conversation.
Loud. Praise God. Peaceful. My name is Charles Dunn Sr. The South, Georgia. I know what you're going through here in the Midwest. But Dr. King would be proud to see what I see here. And the rest of the country should take note that when he said black children and white children were going to be holding hands and uniting together, and that's what we are doing now in a peaceful situation. I'm not here to blame the police. My brother was a police, but that's not making anything to do with it. I'm not here to blame race. But folks, we have to come up with the means of peaceful solutions that are right. And we don't know what right is until we get the truth, and we will never get the truth of any situation. I'm not just talking about what happened here. I'm not just talking about what happened in St. Louis in that area. We have to make this country understand. I'm a proud person. I serve this country. There are others that serve this country. Of all races, look at you. But it seems that the minority race gets the short end of things when we come back to our own country.
Right.
It is a pity. I don't know what happened down there. I don't know what ever happened here. You will never hear the truth regardless of that. Justice is in the eyes of the people who are calling the shots, whomever they are. And a lot of times, they don't have all the facts. My God leads me to come out here. I just told my wife, I said, I've got to get out there. She said, you talk too much. Well, sometimes you can keep the mouth shut. But listen to what I'm saying. This is great. Peaceful demonstration. We want the country, Champaign and everybody, to know that we can unite in a common cause without burning and looting. I've seen too much of it in my almost 70 years. Something goes wrong, we don't agree with whether it's right or wrong, then we go start burning and looting. I've seen some of the same stores that people had to buy and eat and get stuff from. They burned it down. No more, folks. You don't want to hear it. It's hard. But you can't solve things with racial prejudice. We got to unite, folks. I served this country. I died for this country. I'm sorry, I didn't. But we have people that have died for this country. And they come back here, and this is what's still happening in 2000. Pray, folks. Whether you're a Christian or not, I'm going to pray for you. I'm glad to see the assembly. I want to give this mic over to somebody else, but I had to talk about it. I want people to consider police officers, doctors, lawyers, us that served in the military. We deserve, and even you who haven't served, we deserve a lot more justice, and I don't know how to get it. The other thing, peaceful demonstration keeps another kid from getting shot or something happening because things get out of control.
That's not true.
Let me finish. Let me finish this.
I'm from New York City. That is not true.
No, let me finish what I'm saying.
By any means necessary.
No, you haven't finished what I'm saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying. Yes, we get shot. We get maimed. We get beaten up. But don't bring your child out in a demonstration, folks. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I know.
Come here, Oscar.
I know.
That's right. There's my child. There's my child. I want him to see it. I want him to know it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Clever, and I represent a hip-hop group here in Champaign, Urbana called the Great Thinkers.
Yeah! Woo!
I'm very grateful to be here today, just to take time out of what I thought was hectic life, dramatic life, to be here for something much more important and universal. So, I don't have a piece specifically for Mike Brown, but what I do have is something that I've done recently, and it was influenced by the own killings that have been happening in the local community here. I'm sorry. I said I don't have a piece specific for Mike Brown, but I do have something that was inspired by the local killings here in Champaign, Urbana. Many of my friends who I went to school with, people I grew up with, stuff like that. So I don't want to see it within my own community anymore either. So I stand in the center of double standards. A sinner, as some would say. I defend myself. I won't run away from who I am. I understand her and him. Well-mannered, manic, slightly mannish. Then I managed to look up the meaning of mannish. Much to my surprise, it's Sanskrit for the one who has mastered one's own mind. Please don't undermine, especially if you addressing me like you got too much pride to put aside and feed my fire. Like commitment is suicidal. They gon' have you dead on arrival. But I'ma get you right though. I'ma get you right though. I'ma get you right. Yeah, I'ma get you right though. I'ma get you right. And I don't know your plight, but I'm polite. You're polar opposite, but not the opposition type. I'm more like poser proposition, give you props and prototypes. Plots and poetry if you keep your composure right. You a soldier golden knight. Rusty shoulders old but wise. They kill him so you don't survive. Heroes keeping hope alive. They kill him so you won't survive. And that ain't the that you just vocalize. But I'm feeling open wide. If you with it, we can get it, system override. Happy sister soldiers spitting pieces, Nobel, I'm immortalized. History repeats itself, baby, it's more to life. History repeats itself, it's more to life. Need you to need me more sometimes. We at war, I'm sick of standing at your borderlines. Caution tape for warning signs and sirens. Thank you. I also want to say one more thing, just because this helps me feel better. The Great Thinkers, we have this thing where we say everything is great. But what that means is that when you believe in God and when you believe in the good in the world and the good in yourself, that you can always look to that greatness and feel better about yourself and influence the situation with positivity. So when I say everything is, I would like y'all to say great. All right? Everything is great. Everything is great. When I say everything is, y'all say great. And everything is great. Everything is great. Great. Thank you.
All right, now we would like to bring up Reverend Carr to lead us in a moment of silence in the memory of Mike Brown.
Good afternoon, everyone. I give honor to the God of my salvation, the God who gives me courage and strength to be able to stand and do what I need to do. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. God is great, even in the midst of this storm we're going through right now. He's a great God. And so I understand that the parents of Michael Brown have asked people across the nation to pause for 45 minutes in honor of and in respect of the time that he was on the ground for 4.5 hours. So let's do that right now and just reflect on all the ones in this nation, our African American males, our boys, who have died. Can you hear me? Who have died at the hands of violence. And we just want to reflect and remember. And we want to thank God for all that he has done. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm crying now and I'm spared now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. 4.5 minutes from this point, we are going to reflect on what has happened to our African American males. Because I have one. And they make mistakes. But we want them to have a future after the mistakes they make. I've made mistakes. We want everyone to have a future. Think of them as your own child. At that moment, that was your child. But you want to be on the ground, dead without a life. If it was your own child, would you want to be dead without a life? I don't think so. Think twice. If it was your own child. 4.5 minutes from this point. Silence.
Moments of silence for justice. Palestine to Ferguson! We want justice. Yes. Thank you.
I think the speakers are alive.
I want to share two things that have been on my heart this morning. One is a quote and one is a song. So the quote is from Mother Teresa. If we have no peace, we've forgotten that we belong to each other. So I invite us all just to take a moment and turn around, do a 360 and look in the eyes, look at who's here. And let's just take in our community of support. So we're here together in this moment. Just notice what it feels like to be part of the web of humanity. The invitation on the table is so big. It's bigger than any of us. And how many, you might have had, like your life maybe has taught you that mine has, when we face the problem, we don't actually solve the problem at the same level of consciousness that produced the problem. So we're standing here and we're inviting a different way of being, a way of being where we can step to what's being invited up to us. So I'd love to lead a song that for me is an invitation of those qualities. And I would love to invite the noisemakers, the scat singers, the drum pounders to make some noise. We need to hear each other, we need to harmonize with each other, and we need to let some energy through our body. There's so much pain, there's so much anger, there's so much hope, there's so much power. So as we sing, I invite you just to open the soles of your feet, maybe bounce around, maybe bump some hips with your neighbor. Let's be alive together. Because what the world needs is for all of us to come alive in our power. So I don't care if you're a singer, make a joyful, screech, howl noise. I'm also nervous, and so I might start this song too low or too high. If so, just tell me to like bump it up or bump it down, okay? All right. Actually, let's just make a little howl before we get going. Take a deep breath in and sound out. All right, one more. Maybe get your body some more involved. Big breath in and let it out. Are we here now? All right. The words of this song are, if we ever needed love before, we sure do need it now. We sure do need it now. We sure do need it now. If we ever needed love before, we sure do need it now. We need it every day and every hour. There's two parts of the song, but let's just sing that first part. And then we can call out different qualities that we need. We need love, we need peace, we need justice, we need power, we need each other. So if you feel equality, call it out, all right?
All right, yes.
All right. I heard some drummers. We have some drummers in the house, right?
Drummers in the back, drummers!
Sing it through as soon as you get it, get going with it, okay?
Plenty of drums.
If we ever needed love before, we sure do need it now. Sure do need it now. Sure do need it now. If we ever needed love before, we sure do need it now. We need it every day and every hour. All right, stay with me. Let's go.
anytime you hear a racist joke, a racist remark, that's what you need to do. I love that sign. And there's another sign. This sister right here, hold it up. Shoot now, targeted by police wins. How many in here have black children beside me? Hold your hands up. How many of y'all are scared for your children? Hold your hands up. Okay? And it's not just about black boys, black girls, it's all children. You better remember that. I come from a family where my father was a state policeman, my brother was a state policeman, my son-in-law is a sheriff. I got a sister that works for the state police. I've got a sister that's a lawyer over in Florida next to Ferguson. Okay, and what I want to say is remind you that not all police are bad, but what we need to call for is for the bad apples to be thrown out of the barrel. Yeah. That's the problem. And part of having the bad apples is the militarization of police forces. If people bring in tanks and tasers, then police don't speak up because they want to stick together. They don't want to seem like they're different than others. It's a natural instinct we all have. And think about this. When my kids were little, my son and my daughter, we were riding around Carbondale. And they would see the police, they said, "Mama, Mama, the police." And I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? We got police in our family. And what did that tell me right there? That they had seen already how racist, sexist, and evil the police could be.
Say it like it is.
So, you need to speak up. You need to talk to one another. You need to write letters. They got cuckoo people writing in the News Gazette. So you all need to start writing letters. You need to start speaking up. All right? And I'm stopping now because it's cold. Y'all need to move around. But it was something you said, this is what democracy looks like.